Wait, stop zipping that suitcase. Honestly, if you think you can just toss some random stuff into your carry-on and breeze through security like it's 2019, you are in for a rude awakening. Welcome to late 20,125. The scanners are smarter, the fines are higher, and the list of normal items that can get you pulled into a back room for questioning just got incredibly weird. I'm not talking about guns or bombs. That's obvious. I'm talking about your vitamins, your portable phone charger, and yes, even that piece of jewelry I circled on the thumbnail. Why could a gummy bear meant for sleep get you treated like a serious drug offender in another country? Why would an airline force you to destroy your expensive smart luggage right at the gate? Do not let a $5 item snowball into a bill bigger than your plane ticket. Today, we are walking through the 10 carry-on items that can get you fined or arrested in 2025. And stay with me until the end because item number 1 is something you've probably thrown into your backpack without a second thought. Let's get into it. Stop packing your meds in sketchy Ziploc bags. Seriously, it's late 2025 and what you call saving space, Border Patrol calls a drug trafficking starter kit. In Japan, tourists have watched hundreds of dollars of vitamins and skincare hit the trash can just because they didn't have the original bottle. The rule is brutal, no label. You are gambling with your entry. But Dubai is the final boss. A traveler recently got flagged just for transiting because their prescription was on the UAE ban list. If it shows up in your bloodstream, it can be treated as possession. You can literally face trouble for what is inside your body. Quick tip, check the UAE Ministry of Health website right now. And remember, one emergency landing could land you in their jurisdiction. And the headache isn't just the pills, it's the temperature. A slushy medical ice pack is an absolute magnet for TSA delays. One traveler got grilled over melted packs and only escaped by showing old boarding passes to prove travel time. So keep your receipts, tickets, prescriptions handy to speed things up. Don't let a bottle of Advil give you a criminal record. I'm curious though, has anyone here actually had your meds snatched at customs? Drop your horror stories in the comments. But if you think that was stressful, wait for item number 9. It's a $300 gadget the airline might force you to destroy right at the gate. You know that bougie $400 smart suitcase you bought to flex at the airport? Well, right now that bag is basically a VIP ticket to a gate check nightmare. We know the drill when you're flying domestic. You're in Zone 4 and the Delta agent gets on the mic. Bins are full. We need to gate check. Panic mode engaged. Here's the trap. By now, airline policy brutally simple. If the battery doesn't pop out, the bag doesn't go down. Why is your phone okay but the bag isn't? It's simple. A fire in the cabin is manageable. A lithium fire in the cargo hold at 30,000 feet is a catastrophe. You don't want to be that passenger on your knees at the jet bridge digging out a battery while the agent just stares. Forget the TSA approved sticker. If they can't eject it in 3 seconds, you're either ditching the bag or missing the flight. To skip this circus. Some travelers are going old school, shipping luggage via ground services a week early and breezing through security. Make sure that battery ejects before you even think about packing. Otherwise, you're looking at a very expensive mistake. Music. And while we are on the subject of electronics that flight crews absolutely hate, item number 8 takes the cake. It fits in your pocket, but plugging it in at your seat is basically a crime. For my cloud chasers, flying right now is basically navigating a minefield. You see harmless strawberry mist. Security sees a fire hazard. Customs sees contraband. You need to take your destination seriously. Thailand and Singapore aren't playing games. Bringing a vape there genuinely risks jail time or deportation. Even in hot spots like Mexico, you're looking at immediate confiscation and fines that cost more than your return ticket. We've seen vacations ruined at Cancun customs over a couple of disposable pods. On the plane, this is non-negotiable. Never charge your device. The FAA strictly forbids it because lithium batteries can overheat. Plug that into your seat and you instantly go from passenger to safety threat in the eyes of the crew. It's not worth the drama. And don't try to sneak a puff in the bathroom. Modern smoke sensors are better than you think. Getting caught means a massive fine and potentially being banned from that airline for life. The smartest move, switch to Zyn pouches or patches for the travel days. Unless you are 100% sure about the local laws, leave the hardware at home. Is a quick buzz really worth a criminal record? If you think that's strict, wait until you see item number 7. It's the gadget you need to keep your phone alive, but pack the wrong size and TSA will toss it in the trash instantly. We all share that 1% battery anxiety. So, naturally, you pack a power bank that feels like a brick and could probably jumpstart a truck. But security isn't just looking at shapes on a screen. They care how much energy that battery is actually storing. Here's the math you need. Under 100 Wh is the green zone. Music 100 to 160 Wh. That's the ask for permission zone. Most airlines allow 2, but you technically need approval. Over 160 Wh, leave it at home. It's banned. Just because it flew internationally doesn't mean it's safe domestically. A traveler recently flew from Madrid to Wenzhou, China with a 20,000 mAh bank, no problem. But on the domestic hop to Shanghai, confiscated. It lacked a specific safety mark required for domestic flights. It shows that rules can change the second you switch terminals, but the most common killer is faded labels. If an agent flips your battery over and can't read the stats because they rubbed off, they won't Google it for you. No label equals the bin. You might be sweating about your laptop right now. Relax. There's a reason the biggest MacBook Pro is rated at exactly 99.6 Wh. Apple didn't just guess. Music, they engineered it to stay exactly 0.4 units away from being considered a dangerous weapon. They know the rules better than we do. The real danger is with those massive third-party bricks. Check your labels now. If the text is gone, replace it. If you think battery math is annoying, wait for item number 6. It's a flying toy you love, but airports treat it like a spy plane. Let's talk about that flying camera in your bag. You might see your DJI Mini as a harmless way to capture the scenery, but once you cross certain borders, many countries don't view it as a creative tool. They treat it as restricted aviation equipment. And that shift in perspective changes everything. Egypt is the ultimate cautionary tale. Flying a drone near heritage sites like the pyramids is a major security violation. Local authorities don't mess around. You're looking at immediate confiscation and heavy fines. You aren't just losing a gadget. You're inviting a level of scrutiny that ruins the entire vibe of your trip. Then there's India, which is less about spies and more about a bureaucratic trap. You can't just walk in. In many cases, you're supposed to apply for permission online before you even board your flight. If you land without the right paperwork, say goodbye to your drone. Customs will probably seize it, and navigating the red tape to get it back is extremely difficult. And don't bother burying it in your laundry to fool the scanner. The moment you try to conceal it, you lose the "I didn't know" defense. If it looks like you tried to sneak it in, you aren't just losing the drone, you're facing a smuggling charge. So, what's the smarter play? Check international drone laws on an app like Drone Buddy before you pack. Or better yet, if you absolutely need aerial shots, hire a local drone operator when you get there. It saves you the hassle and keeps your record clean. We've dealt with the cameras buzzing overhead. Now, let's look at the ones hiding right on your face. Item number 5 gives you that 007 vibe, but border security treats it like actual espionage. We all love feeling a bit like James Bond. Smart glasses, recording pens, or those clever little cameras hidden in alarm clocks are huge right now. But while these are fun gadgets at home, crossing the wrong border turns them from cool tech into prohibited surveillance equipment. In countries like Saudi Arabia, strict privacy laws mean the import of concealed cameras is tightly controlled or outright banned. Similarly, at borders in China, security checks often include extra scrutiny of unusual electronics. Authorities there don't view these items as content creation tools. They often flag them as potential security risks. The giveaway isn't a blinking light. It's the X-ray. You can't fool physics. A ballpoint pen or a pair of reading glasses should not have a battery, wiring, and a circuit board inside. When the scanner reveals electronics hidden inside an ordinary object, that is an immediate red flag. The reality: you aren't necessarily going to a secret prison, but you will likely have your expensive gear confiscated and face a hefty fine. Plus, you'll have to explain to a very stern customs officer why you're carrying covert recording devices. It's an awkward, expensive conversation that ruins the start of any trip. The rule of thumb: if it looks like spy gear, keep it out of your bag. You are a tourist, not a secret agent. Pack accordingly. Alright, enough with the 007 gadgets. Let's pivot to something that looks harmless and honestly delicious. You probably packed this to help you sleep, but in parts of Asia, it's treated with the same severity as hard narcotics. We need to bust a massive myth right now. You trust that label on your sleep gummies that says 0% THC, right? Well, in many international airports, that sticker is legally worthless. You bring CBD for good vibes. Customs agents in Japan or Dubai bring chemical spectrometers that have absolutely zero chill. These machines don't care about your cute organic wellness label. They detect molecular structures. And legal systems in places like Indonesia or the UAE don't have a "my back hurts" exception clause. The law is binary. It's either legal or you're in big trouble. Just look at the case of Pip Holmes in Bali. He had a small amount of oil specifically for arthritis pain. The result: no warning. He suddenly found himself facing headlines about a potential 15-year sentence in a system where a medical excuse holds zero weight and a doctor's note can't save him from being treated like a serious drug offender. Do not gamble years of your freedom just to sleep better on the flight. If you aren't absolutely sure, and in most of these countries, you really can't dump it before security. Now, while CBD gets you in trouble for what you take out of the country, the next trap is about what you bring back. It's that cheap souvenir you bought at a night market that US Customs is waiting to slap with a massive fine. Plasma arc lighters are undeniably cool. They're basically miniature lightsabers. But unlike your power bank, which just sits there, this gadget is designed to create immediate intense heat that makes security very nervous. The rules are specific. Checked bags are a hard no. For carry-on, it's allowed, but there is a massive catch. It requires a specialized safety latch to prevent accidental activation. They need to be 100% sure it won't torch your backpack mid-flight. Here's the gamble: safety is subjective. One viewer had their lighter confiscated simply because the agent decided the latch felt a bit loose. You are never going to win a debate about engineering specs in the security line. It is a fight you will lose. And if you are heading to China, don't bother. Most airports there have a zero-tolerance policy for all lighters. It's getting tossed, period. So ask yourself, why invite the scrutiny? Carrying a $50 gadget that acts as a giant "Inspect Me" sign for TSA makes zero sense when a disposable one does the same job. Sometimes high-tech equals high hassle. Stick to the basics and save the plasma beams for home. Losing a lighter is just annoying. But now, let's get to the part everyone is actually waiting for. I know a lot of you clicked on this video because you saw that expensive watch circled in the thumbnail, right? So why on earth is it banned? The answer is coming up in item number 2. And getting this wrong is the kind of mistake that ends up costing people thousands of dollars. Take a look at that bracelet or handbag you're wearing. If you picked it up for a steal at a night market, you're traveling with a legal risk you probably haven't even thought about. And that expensive watch circled in the thumbnail. It's there because fake designer pieces like that go straight into the confiscated pile at customs. Customs used to focus on shipping containers, but now places like France and Italy are cracking down on individual travelers. Landing in Paris or Milan with a super fake Louis Vuitton isn't just a fashion faux pas. Travelers have faced on-the-spot confiscation and 3- or 4-figure fines. US Customs is also pushing hard on this, warning that buying and bringing in fakes feeds money into criminal networks. Music: this crackdown is sparking a huge debate in the comments. Many viewers feel that digging through personal luggage for a knockoff bag is total government overreach. People are rightly asking, what if I received a fake bag as a gift? Am I really going to get busted for a present I didn't even buy? And there's an even deeper frustration from older travelers who aren't obsessed with brands. They point out a scary reality. They buy shoes because they're comfortable and affordable, not because of the logo. They worry that the system ends up punishing people who aren't experts on high fashion or trained to spot a fake. It's a valid, painful concern. Unfortunately, customs agents aren't there to judge your intent or your fashion knowledge. If they decide the logo is fake, they treat it as a real customs violation, not a harmless mistake. The bottom line: counterfeits are now a legal risk, not just a quality one. If you didn't buy it from a reputable store, the safest move is to leave it at home when you cross a border, unless you feel like making an involuntary donation to the French government. If getting fined for a purse sounds wild, wait until the number 1 spot. It's an item you probably bought for self-defense, but airport security treats as an offensive weapon. We have finally made it to number 1. We aren't talking about obvious things like guns or explosives. We are talking about the stuff sitting in your bag right now, items you see as harmless tools, but airport security sees as lethal weapons. The definition of a disguised weapon is shockingly broad. Greater than music, greater than you might think that tactical pen or souvenir throwing star is just a cool gift. But security scanners are trained to flag anything that looks purpose-built to inflict damage regardless of your intent. The trap often lies in cultural differences. Back home in the US, carrying a Leatherman multi-tool on your belt might not raise an eyebrow in everyday life. But in places like London, that tiny locking blade risks being treated as an offensive weapon and landing you in serious hot water. But there are real-world stories where logic just goes to die. I read about a man who bought a soldering iron in the UK. A purely technical tool, but Heathrow security treated the pointed tip like a prison shank. That tool never made it out of London. Another traveler transiting through Dubai had to surrender a brand new Stanley tape measure. Yes, a tape measure. Apparently in the wrong hands, it's not for measuring furniture. It's a tactical threat. And the peak of this absurdity involves hiking sticks. There is a wild account from a female traveler who was told that as long as she was physically leaning on the stick, it was a mobility aid and perfectly fine. But the second she folded it up and put it in her backpack, it stopped being medical equipment and became a bludgeon in the eyes of the agent. The item didn't change, but her grip on it determined whether she made the flight. So, stop trying to apply common sense to airport security regulations. It doesn't work. Ignorance won't save your gear. Make this your standard procedure. If it has a point, a blade, or is heavy enough to hurt someone, put it in the cargo hold. Don't let a tape measure or a soldering iron ruin your trip. I know after that list, you probably feel like the only safe thing to pack is a pair of socks and a smile, but the goal is for you to breeze through security, not get patted down over a vitamin bottle. Have you ever had something ridiculous confiscated? Drop your story in the comments. If this saved you a fine or just gave you some peace of mind, hit like and subscribe. Safe travels and I'll see you in the next.